Family, what's good? Listen, I want to have a conversation with you about this Project 2025. There's been a lot of rhetoric and bluster coming on from the left about how we should be so afraid if Trump wins the election and wins the presidency. He's going to suspend the Constitution and he's going to stay in office forever. We won't ever be able to get him out. Me, myself, I'm a man of logic. If I'm going to be afraid of something, I want to know what I'm afraid of. So I want you to work with me and help me take this deep dive as we look deeper into Project 2025 and if this is something we really need to be afraid of. So let's get into it. Before I do that, I want to play a couple clips just to give you an idea of the doom and gloom that the left is painting for us. All right?
Have grand visions of what 21st century America should look like. And when you hear about it, you'll realize it sounds a lot like 19th century America without all the pesky income taxes, regulations, labor rights, civil rights, especially women's rights. The men over at the Heritage Foundation, a wealthy right-wing think tank swarming with former Trump administration officials, have published a very detailed plan for the next Republican president. In the section on abortion, you get a good sense of what's coming for us. Aside from ostracizing single women, renaming HHS the Department of Life, and implementing a federal ban on abortion. They also want to ban mifepristone, ban stem cell research, implement a White House task force on pro-life issues, add more work requirements to Medicaid, cancel Head Start for kids, and expand access to fertility awareness family planning methods, because they do not like that you can get contraception under his eye. But we begin tonight with Project 2025 and the Republican plan to impose repressive measures on every single one of us. Now, we talk a lot about this looming threat from Project 2025 on this show, but tonight we're going to start laying out exactly what these people have in mind for you, your families, your friends, and your children.
Let's listen to Rachel Maddow now with her take and what she has to say about Project 2025.
This big New York Times story today, big story, very important story, about how the leading Republican presidential candidate, Donald Trump, and Republicans more broadly, have this plan that they want to put in place if the Republican Party wins the presidency in 2024. They're calling it Project 2025 because this is a plan that's supposed to go into effect upon the inauguration of Donald Trump in 2025. Either Trump or some other Republican president gets inaugurated in January of 2025, and Project 2025 thereby goes into effect. This plan is being coordinated by a right-wing think tank called the Heritage Foundation, and it is a plan to radically change the form of governance that we have in the United States so as to concentrate all the power of the government in the hands of a single leader. Quote, our current executive branch was conceived of by liberals. What's necessary is a complete system overhaul. Quote, what we're trying to do is identify the pockets of independence inside the U.S. government and seize them. Seize them. So there won't be any more pockets of independent power outside the power that is held by the president. Now, as I said, they want this to be Donald Trump. They want him to be the guy in whose hands all this power is concentrated.
Let's listen to Trump. Let's listen to what Trump has to say. What does Trump say? What does he know about Project 2025?
I want to get into something that has become a critical point for the Biden administration and the Biden campaign against you. This is a headline that the campaign put out. Trump's Project 2025 is a deliberate attack on Black lives and Black livelihood, and it talks about the cost of things and what it says 2025's project would be. I first of all just want to get from you your thoughts on Project 2025 and whether or not Biden can use this effectively against you.
I don't think he'll be able to. Look, first of all, I have no idea what it is. It's a group of extremely conservative people got together and wrote up a wish list of things, many of which I disagree with entirely. They're too severe, like on abortion, as an example. they have a strong view of abortion. Well, from what I've heard, it's not too far, way too far. They've gone really too far.
Project 2025, the mandate for leadership, the conservative promise. So, Project 2025 is a manifesto that's been put together by the Heritage Foundation. And we got to get into this and let's learn more about who the Heritage Foundation actually is. So let's look at their mission statement. It says, every day, the Heritage Foundation is building an America where freedom, opportunity, prosperity, and civil society flourish. Heritage's mission is to formulate and promote public policies based on the principles of free enterprise, limited government, individual freedom, traditional American values, and a strong national defense. Heritage's strategic priorities: fighting for America's future. Number 1, providing solutions, researching, developing, and promoting innovative solutions. Mobilizing conservatives using the conservative movement to work together. And training leaders, preparing future generations who will lead America. All right, well, that's their mission statement. So let's get more into it. Heritage has won victories benefiting all Americans. For 50 years, the Heritage Foundation has led the way for reforms in every policy area, from taxes and regulation to crime and national defense. With more than 100 policy experts, Heritage has the talent to tackle complex policy issues with simple and effective conservative solutions. The entire Heritage enterprise, the Heritage Foundation, Heritage Action for America, and Daily Signal works on behalf of the American people to defend our liberties and our founding principles. This work has paid off time and again with major policy victories since we first opened our doors in 1973. Stop. So, the Heritage Foundation, they're telling us that they have had major victories in that 50-year span. So that tells me that we've seen quite a bit of their policies over those years, and we're still here. I'm not minimizing Project 2025 by any means. Let's be clear. I'm not minimizing it. I'm not poo-pooing it or making it something that's insignificant. The point that I want to point out is that I don't know if our world should stop behind this, because as you just seen, that this Heritage Foundation, as we're about to get into, the Heritage Foundation has been behind many policies. Yes, they mostly do align themselves with the Republicans and the right, but they have pushed policies through Democratic administrations as well. I'll show you that as we move forward. So let's move on. What are some of the victories that the Heritage Foundation has accomplished in their 50 years in being in operation? Let's see. Inspiring President Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative and pushing American withdrawal from the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty, both of which paved the way to defend America from missile attacks. Okay. Historic 1996 welfare reform legislation that decreased child poverty and significantly increased employment. Stop right there. Those of you that's old enough to remember the Welfare Reform Act, as they painted it, was much more deeper. What it was they had this stereotypical picture that they painted, that there were a bunch of black women on welfare that were lazy. All they did was get free money, lay up on their ass and have babies and continue to get free money. So what they did was they implemented a program where these women would now have to either get into some kind of training program or find employment in order to continue to receive welfare benefits, which in my opinion isn't a bad thing. But my point being is that they pushed this policy through a Democratic administration. And on top of that, we survived. This is the playbook they want to establish for when Trump takes office. It says the 180-day playbook. The time is short and conservatives need a plan. The project will create a playbook of actions to be taken in the first 180 days of the new administration to bring quick relief to Americans suffering from the left's devastating policies. The fourth pillar of Project 2025 is our 180-day transition playbook and includes a comprehensive, concrete transition plan for each federal agency. Only through the implementation of specific action plans at each agency will the next conservative presidential administration be successful. Pillar 4 will provide the next president a roadmap for doing just that. Okay. This is 900 pages. Of course, I'm not reading 900 pages, but I got the bullet points. So let's take the bullet points and see if we agree with any of these policies that they're looking to implement when Trump takes office. Let's see what we're supposed to be afraid of. Project 2025, the Presidential Transition Project. End no-fault divorce. Complete ban on abortions without exceptions. I don't support that. Ban contraceptives. I don't support that. Additional tax breaks for corporations in the 1%. They're doing that already. Higher taxes for the working class. They're doing that already. Am I for it? Obviously not, but they're doing it already. Elimination of unions and worker protections. I don't support that. Raise the retirement age. No, I don't support that. Cut Social Security. Absolutely not. I'm paying into Social Security now, and I definitely would like to reap some of those benefits whenever I decide to stop working and retire. Cut Medicare. No, I don't support that. I got family members that are on Medicare and need those benefits and that support. In the Affordable Care Act, I think the Affordable Care Act at the end of the day is a good thing. So no, I don't support that. They've been trying to repeal Obamacare for the longest now. So, I mean, should I be afraid of that? I don't think so. Raise prescription drug prices. Absolutely not. I don't support that, but if they were to raise prescription drug prices, again, I'm not sure if that would be the end of the world. No, I'm not for raising prescription drug prices. I don't support that policy at all. So far, for the most part, these are policies that I'm really against. Eliminate the Department of Education. Absolutely not. Is the Department of Education perfect? No, but I still think we need those type of entities in place. Those institutions need to be in place. Use public taxpayer money for private religious schools. Absolutely not. I don't want my taxpayer money going to private religious schools. Those people who practice those religions should be able to support the building of their own educational institutions, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But no, I'm not for that. So let's move forward. Hit me in the comments and let me know if you agree with any of those policies so far. But no, so far after reading what I've read, the majority, if not all, I'm not for. And another thing too, I want to say, salute to my man Kevlar Corleone. We was having a conversation, man. He made a very interesting point. The point that I'm making is that if you want to make those policies and implement those policies, those things are done over a period of time and not just in, say, 180 days or even in a 4-year period. So that's the point I'm making. This is Dr. Kevin Roberts. He is the president of the Heritage Foundation. He's actually the face of Project 2025 on national TV, promoting Project 2025 and how proud he is of it. Now listen, let me just be clear. I'm not minimizing or saying that this is something that we shouldn't pay attention to. The point I'm making is that no matter what they do, they're going to implement it if they really want to implement it. No matter who's in office, whether it's Trump or whether it's Biden. Personally, if you really want to know my take, be honest with you, I think Biden would be the one that would be more prone to implement a policy like that. Oh, you bug. Why would I say that? Why would you say that, Jalil? I'm going to tell you why. Because Biden was the one that mandated the vaccine. Biden was the one that did that, not Trump. Matter of fact, I recall that Trump said you got a choice. He was like, listen, it's here if you want it. You want it, you want it, it's here. You don't want it, you don't got to take it. That's the American way. Your choice. Biden came in. Instead of him following suit, he mandated it. Forcing people to lose their jobs. Forcing people who needed jobs not to be able to get employment if they didn't want it. So why would you do that? Why would you place someone's livelihood on whether or not they would do that or not? So yeah, if there were some type of policies that were extreme like that, I think Biden would be the one more so than Trump to bring that policy in. And that's just me. That's my opinion. If you disagree, cool. You understand? And when you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, if you really want to get on some other shit, when it comes down to black people specifically, I can't think of any policies that Trump made during his administration that impacted black people in a negative way. I can point to a whole host of policies that Biden is behind that impacted black Americans in a negative way, going all the way back to the 70s, during his career as a senator. But that's a conversation for another day. So, Project 2025. Talking about this guy here. Dr. Kevin Roberts, president of the Heritage Foundation. Here says, Heritage Foundation touts controversial Project 2025 planned on RNC outskirts. Now remember, I just showed you that Trump said he didn't know anything about the Project 2025. Could he be lying? Absolutely. He said that he doesn't support their policies, that they're extreme in his opinion. So, let's see if this is something that we need to be afraid of. So it says, this article, despite former President Donald Trump's denial of any connection to the conservative presidential transition plan known as Project 2025, the initiative's driver, the Heritage Foundation, promoted the platform mere blocks from the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, attracting officials and personalities from the party's most conservative wing. The project has taken heat from Democrats in recent weeks who are warning of the plan's ambitions, among them passing the most stringent abortion ban the next Republican administration can get through Congress and lowering the corporate tax rate. And Trump, the GOP presidential nominee, has sought to distance himself from the proposal. The multi-pronged project, featuring a 922-page policy prescription and a training academy received praise from conservatives who traveled to attend the RNC and ancillary events. The hundreds of pages in Heritage's mandate promise to overhaul government agencies and restore the American family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts described the comprehensive policy plan as the unification of the conservative movement at the organization's all-day policy fest near the convention Monday. And again, this is Kevin Roberts. This is the guy who we're talking about here. This is the president of the Heritage Foundation. He's the one promoting Project 2025. This is his baby. This is his baby. All right? So let's keep that in mind. Again, Trump said he doesn't support these policies. He's not supporting Project 2025. Could he be lying? Absolutely. But he's on record saying that those policies are extreme. We have him on record saying it. Right? We have him on record saying it. So, now let's go back to the article. Awaiting a Trump presidency. Those who traveled to Milwaukee for the RNC packed the auditorium in collective anticipation of the possibility of a second Trump presidency and the promise of traditionalist priorities emanating from the Oval Office. I think President Trump has learned a lot over the last few years about where the movement is, where the country is, and also some real hot spots around the world that didn't exist when he left office, Roberts told reporters. I've been very impressed during the campaign by signals that President Trump's involving a lot of voices. I think this is going to be an administration that is very efficient. Stitt told the audience during the afternoon session that we're here this week to fight for the American dream and really our way of life. You know, to our founders, the American dream meant freedom to worship, for you to assemble, freedom to speak to one's mind, Stitt said. It meant that there was no limit to what someone could accomplish and freedom from government, not controlled by government. Let's read the rest. Let's get back to the actual policies of Project 2025. We read one half. Getting back to the actual policies. These are the bullet points. These are the bullet points. Teach Christian religious beliefs in public schools. Absolutely not. For me, that's me. End free and discounted school lunch programs. Absolutely not. I actually was a participant of the free lunch program, and I think that many other children coming up can benefit from the free lunch program. The origin of the free lunch program actually was started by the Black Panther Party with their free breakfast program that they had started back in the 60s. The government adopted that. And that's how we have come about to know the lunch program as it is today. Little tidbit, historical tidbit for you. End civil rights and DEI protections in government. How strong are those policies right now, and are they really being enforced as they should be? So, to end them, to me, that's questionable. Ban African American and gender studies in all levels of education. Absolutely not. Gender studies, I have to look deeper into what they mean by gender studies. If they're talking about this new gender identification things that little children can do, then I'm absolutely and totally opposed to that. I'm opposed to them banning African American history. Most definitely. Ban books and curriculum about slavery. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. End climate protections. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Increase Arctic drilling. I need more information before I can make a definitive answer on where I stand on that. To be 100% honest with you, I'm not, is that helping or hurting us by drilling? Deregulate big business in the oil industry? Absolutely not. We need those corporations to have some kind of regulations, because if not, we let them run wild. Too many corporations have been caught poisoning our waters, poisoning our air. They definitely need to be regulated, in my opinion. Promote and expedite capital punishment. Capital punishment to a degree, depending on the crime, the level, and the brutality of the crime. In some areas, in some ways, I think we need capital punishment. But not in all cases. In marriage equality. Let me be clear. Marriage equality has been here. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. Do I condone it? No, I don't condone it. But it's been here. So to end it at this point, I don't necessarily agree with that, because it's been in effect. It doesn't affect my life one way or another. So, but I believe that I believe in the traditional idea of marriage, which is marriages between a man and a woman. That's just me. Condemn single mothers while promoting only traditional families. It's not about condemning single mothers. My mother was a single mother. And there are many single mothers out there that's struggling and going through their difficulties, whatever that might be. Do we want it to have? Do we want to have traditional families? Absolutely. Reality is that there are a lot of single mothers out there struggling. So no, we're not going to condemn single mothers. If anything, we want to try to help those single mothers if we can, because if they're doing well, then the children are doing well. Let's move on. Defund the FBI and Homeland Security. No, absolutely not. Are they perfect? No, I'm not for defunding the FBI and Homeland Security. We need those in place to protect our country and protect us here, not only our country, but abroad as well. Use the military to break up domestic protest. Absolutely not. Mass deportation of immigrants and incarceration camps. I'm not against immigration, but I'm definitely against illegal immigration. I feel like because of this immigration, we're losing our already minimal resources and tangibles that are here. Mass deportation of immigrants and incarceration camps. So not for the incarceration camps, but I do feel we have to do something about this immigration issue. Mass deportation, that might be a bit extreme, but I think we need some aggressive policies put in place to do something about the influx of these illegal immigrants that are coming to the country. We got to do something about it. Mass deportation, I'm not going to say I'm against it. I'm not going to say I'm for it. I'm on the fence right now, to be honest with you. End birthright citizenship. If they're saying that an illegal immigrant can come into the country and have a child and anchor that baby here, because of that baby being born in the country, that automatically makes them a citizen, yes, I'm against that. Most definitely. Definitely. Am I wrong? I don't know, you tell me. Ban Muslims from entering the country. No, you can't ban Muslims from coming into the country. we have to do a better job of vetting these people coming into our country. And even then, you can vet them till you're blue in the face, and you still might slip up and let someone slip through the crack. But you can't stereotype everybody just off the actions of a small few. Eliminate federal agencies like the FDA, EPA, and the NOAA, and more. The FDA, EPA. No, I say we need these agencies in place, even though the FDA is questionable because they are allowing a lot of our foods, processed foods, to be coming in that are poisoning us. But I think in some areas we need those agencies in place. Definitely energy protection, the Environmental Protection Agency, most definitely we need that. We need them in place. Like I said, is every agency perfect? No. But I think we still need these agencies in place to keep some kind of measures in place to keep these corporations somewhat in check. Continue to pack the Supreme Court and lower courts with right-wing judges. Absolutely not. So, for the most part, most of their policies I'm against. Their policies are very extreme, and I'm against them. Maybe a few that I'm on the fence, but for the most part, I'm not with those policies. The question is, should we be afraid of Project 2025 if Trump takes office? They're giving us all this doom and gloom from the left, from all the Democratic shills. Again, am I saying that we shouldn't be concerned about Project 2025? No, I'm not saying that. I think we should be concerned about Project 2025 no matter who's in office. See, that's the thing that I think we're missing. Because if they really want to implement this policy, they can. Again, going back to the 1996 Welfare Reform Act, which was bipartisan. Democrats were on board for the Welfare Reform Act. Clinton could have stopped it if he really wanted to, but he didn't. He could have vetoed it, but he didn't. Why is that? Why was the Heritage Foundation, who we're supposed to be so afraid of, able to pass a policy under the watch of the Democrats? And here we got the Democrats telling us now that we're supposed to be so afraid of this Project 2025 when they've showed us in the past that they have been on board for policies created by the Heritage Foundation and allowed those policies to be passed. So, I'm not minimizing Project 2025, but this is what I do know. Hopefully you can feel me on this. No matter what they do, what policies they push on us, we still got to pay the bills. We still got to pay the rent. We still got to eat. We still got to work. You understand? So those things aren't going to stop. And again, they very well may want to put those policies in place, but history has shown us time and time again, those policies have to be something that they do in a gradual process. It's nothing that's done right then and there on the spot. You know, the American people would never go for things like that. You know, we like to be spoon-fed the bullshit. If you give us the bullshit all in one whop, man, we gonna fight. You better believe that. You know. So you tell me in the comments what you think. Is this something that we should be in an uproar about? Or is this something that will soon come to pass, just like all the other policies that we have endured in the past that have been created against us? And we still endured, and we still overcame those challenges, and we still rose to the occasion. I say this will be the same thing. Yeah, we're going to have some difficulties moving forward, economically, you know, socially, because that's the way it goes. Times will always get more difficult as we move on. But we're built to last. We're built for the challenge. We're built to endure any challenge that comes our way, because that's who we are and that's what we do. So, again, buckle up, get ready for the ride, but don't feed in so much into the rhetoric coming from both sides. Just remember, no matter what, never lose focus of this. No matter where the rhetoric is coming from, left or right, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, they're both two wings of the same bird. Right wing, left wing, same bird. So whatever policies they want to push on us, they're going to push on us. They're going to make it happen no matter who's in office. Never be naive to that fact. I hope I was able to give you some insight into this Project 2025. Let me know if you gained a little bit more insight by watching this video. Let me know what you feel about Project 2025. Let me know if you feel this is something that we should be afraid of, or something that you think that we're going to be able to move past and endure and move on. Until next time, stay safe and be well.